Hey y'all, welcome to the Big Bear Homestead. And today on Kitchen Time, we're going to talk about my absolute favorite meal of all times. It's a quick go-to. It's called taco rice and cheese. So, taco rice and cheese. What exactly is that? Well, of course, it's kind of what it sounds like, taco, rice, and cheese. But there's actually a little bit of history behind this, and I mean, what would it be, Kitchen Time be, without a little explanation of where this recipe came from? I had never heard of taco rice and cheese until I met Jason. Jason was in the Marine Corps, and he actually was over in Okinawa while he was in the Marines. And this recipe actually stems from way back, I think, Vietnam era, where a Japanese chef put together their staple, which was rice, with a staple that American soldiers and all the military liked, which was tacos. And so he took tacos, he took rice, put it together, and taco rice and cheese was born. When I met Jason, this was one of his absolute favorites. Thought he was crazy. But of course the man loves tacos, so I mean, how are you going to argue? So anyway, we started making this recipe, and over the years I've kind of tweaked it a little bit. You can look it up for all different types of recipes. Some include MSG. They swear that you're supposed to put that in there to make it taste like the real thing. But of course, I'm ignorant. I don't know what it tasted like when I in Okinawa. So this is the way I make it. It's absolutely delicious, and I hope you'll enjoy it as well. Let's talk ingredients. Obviously, for the taco, you're going to need meat. We're using ground beaver tonight, but you can use ground pork, ground chicken, ground beef, whichever one you prefer. We're using about 2 pounds. You're going to need taco seasoning, which we make our own, and we'll include another video for you to see that on how we make that. We're going to need 1/4 cup of that because it's 2 tablespoons per pound, so that equals out to 1/4 cup for what the meat we're using today. You're going to need a diced onion. You'll need some shredded lettuce. You'll need about 1 pound or so of shredded cheddar cheese, a diced tomato. You're going to need, for us anyway, we use 2 cups of rice, and you're going to need 4 cups of water to make your rice. And then we also use some sour cream for on the top of the dinner once it's all ready and made. First things first, let's go ahead and start our rice. This is the most time-consuming part of the recipe, so we can go ahead and start that before we start browning our meat. So, rice is pretty easy. Some people, we've used a rice cooker in the past, and it's been effective and it's great, but I have children, and that's why we don't have nice things sometimes. And one of my children busted my pot that goes inside the rice cooker, so I was forced to go back to learning exactly how to make rice without a rice cooker, which is good because it's a good skill to have if we ever had to do without electricity. This way I would know how to do it over an open flame. So it's a 2-to-1 ratio, so you use 2 parts water to 1 part rice. So we need 2 cups of rice for this, so we're going to use 4 cups of water. So you put your 4 cups of water into the pot, and go ahead and include your rice before it starts to boil. Go ahead and just add everything in at once. And then we're going to turn that heat on to high. And I usually give it a stir right away to kind of make sure that the water and the rice mix together. Okay? Okay, so now that we have that started, we can go ahead and brown our meat. So I like to use a little bit of oil, about a tablespoon works. And we're going to do this over medium heat. Okay? And we'll put in our 2 pounds of, for us, this is beaver meat. You can use, like I said before, you can use pork, chicken, regular ground beef, venison, whatever meat you have that you're used to making tacos with. And we'll go ahead and brown that meat, and we'll be back in just a moment. Okay, so while you're browning your beef or your chicken or beaver or whatever you have, pay attention to your boiling water for your water for your rice, because once it starts to boil, you'll need to turn it down to a simmer and go ahead and put your lid on top. Now I've got all of my meat browned, and ours doesn't have a whole lot of fat in it. There's actually more water than there is fat. So rather than add water to the meat and then put the taco seasoning in, I'm just going to not dump what little grease I have in here. But if you'd like to, you could go ahead and dump your beef and then put in about a quarter cup of water. It's not a whole lot. And then you're going to put in your seasoning. So we're going to go ahead and pour that in and turn your burner down to a simmer all the way down to low. Go ahead and stir that in there. Oh, it smells so good. And make sure that it's evenly covering all the meat. And then we're just going to let that simmer in there and let it cook down so that the seasoning gets in the middle. Now, also what I'll do at this time is some people like their onions cooked, some people like them raw. Most of the people in our household like them cooked, so I'm going to go ahead and add those in now so that they'll start to they won't get like caramelized like if they were cooking by themselves, but they'll start to get soft and they'll soak up a little bit of that taco seasoning as well. So we'll just kind of stir that in there, make sure it's ready, and then I also like to check my rice, and it's doing okay. And now basically it's just a waiting game. We have to wait for the rice. You want to put the rice on for about 15 to 20 minutes. Usually it's more of a check it and look at it than it is an exact science of what time it takes, because sometimes it takes me about 15 minutes, sometimes it takes a little bit longer. A lot of that can depend on how warm you keep your house, how cold you keep your house. It just kind of depends. Some people have electric burners, some people have gas burners, so that can also play into it as well. But I think pretty much everybody knows what rice is supposed to look like, so when you get to that point where you start to see where a lot of the moisture's cooked away and it's actually into the rice kernels, then you know it's about time to pull it off and you're ready to start serving food. So we're going to wait till the rice is done, and then we'll start putting this all together. Okay, y'all. This is the moment we've all been waiting for. The rice is done. The meat has been browned and is steeping in the taco seasoning. Go ahead and take your lid off of your rice. And you'll see that it is nice and cooked. It's not burned. It's not mushy. Just about right. Okay. So what you're going to do is we'll take a spoonful of the rice. Let me see if I can find my spoon. Somebody took it. I'll just use this one. That's fine. Okay. So you take some rice, and you're going to put that on your plate. All right. And then take some taco meat. Put that on top. And then, time for condiments, right? So, put a little bit of tomato on there. A little bit of lettuce. What's a taco without cheese, right? A little bit of cheese. And last but not least, some sour cream. Okay. And there you have it. Taco rice and cheese. So as you can see, this is a really quick and easy meal. It's very tasty. It combines everything, guys. You get your grain, your dairy, your vegetables, and your meat. Everything all in one plate. It's awesome. So I'm glad you guys were able to follow me along with this one. This is very simple. Most of your stuff is just prep. It's cutting all of your vegetables, getting if you have a block of cheese, shredding your block of cheese, and then it's just a matter of waiting on the rice and the meat to brown. So I'm glad I was able to share this with you. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you're new to us, go ahead and subscribe. There's a lot more videos like this to come. And have a nice day.